Hello, this is Pamela Topjian. I am a board certified hypnotherapist and integrative healing arts practitioner, and I am the voice behind the guided meditations on this channel. So this one's going to be a little different, obviously. I had put a poll up about who wants to have my next video be just information rather than a guided meditation or guided visualization, just information about how to use affirmations or information on how to do some inner child work. And the how to use affirmations won out. So that's what I'm going to bring to you today. And but I will be doing the inner child work one as well. I don't know when, but I'm doing this one today on affirmations. So um if you don't know who Louise Hay is, she is an author and the creator of Hay House. And that is, you can look up Hay House or Louise Hay. Um, I know that there's apps for Hay House Radio, and it's a whole community now of authors, speakers, coaches, people in the self-help community. And there's even some sort of alternative healing type, like Reiki, and there's even oracle card readers and psychics and things like that that belong to Hay House or that are a part of that community. But if you have not heard of Louise Hay, she's got plenty of books that speak about affirmations. She's one of them who was instrumental in bringing that term to the self-help community. We also might think of people like Tony Robbins, Napoleon Hill, or even Esther Hicks. If you know who any of those are, they talk a lot about using affirmations. So there's a ton of information out there. And if you get anything from this video at all, even just piques your interest, I would suggest looking up some of those names if you have not heard of them already. So affirmations, so many people think about affirmations as being just for manifesting, just for bringing something into your life that you don't already have. And usually it's like, financial abundance, right? Having more money, everybody wants more money, or having love in their life, or, a specific thing, whether it's a car or house or some sort of tangible physical thing that they want. So affirmations can also be used just for life improvement, a fulfilling life, a productive life, a purposeful life, things like that. When we speak of, you know, like wanting to have money, it might be better to say things like, um, to have financial stability in your life, things like that, rather than be a millionaire. But since so many people think of affirmations in that way, and it's perfectly fine to use them in that way, I'm just going to go with that example just here in this video, just because it's kind of simple and what a lot of people think of with affirmations. So you can't expect to become a millionaire if you think that all millionaires are crooks. It's more about changing your mindset than it is about just repeating something until you believe it to be true. And that's another sort of misconception, that affirmations are just repeating it to yourself until you believe it. It's more about changing the negative mindset. So um, so there's not really any rules other than, some people are like, oh, I have to write this down, 17 times, or I have to do it this way, or I have to do it that way, or it doesn't work, and I don't believe that that's true at all. Different things are going to work differently for different people. And that goes with just about everything. There's not a whole lot of, the only rule I would say is to remain positive. You're not going to have anything positive come to you through a negative mindset. You know, you don't want to say, I don't want, this or that, instead speak in terms of what you do want, right? That seems obvious. So we always hear about, using the term I am. And I believe that's something that Lewis, now I'm confusing, Lewis Hay has put out there to use I am this, I am that. Um, I'm going to give you a good example of something that I did when I was still in nursing and before I became a hypnotherapist. I was going to a nursing job. It was one of my last ones before I decided to quit and started my schooling for hypnotherapy. It was horrible. I dreaded going. And as I was driving to work, I would almost be yelling at the top of my lungs, I am a hypnotherapist. I am a successful hypnotherapist. I love hypnotherapy. I welcome hypnotherapy into my life. This would help me to get through, through my drive there. Rather than the radio, I would do that. And it sounds crazy, but it made me feel better about going, knowing that something better, I was calling in something better to my life, something that I really was passionate about. So that's one example of using I am. But, it can feel like a lie to say, I am a millionaire, I am in a loving relationship. Um, it feels like a lie sometime if I'm using the example of money because that's a big one that a lot of people want to call into their life. Um, but if you know that your bank account is in the red, or if you know that you have to double check what you have in your bank before you can buy food, or before, maybe you have enough for food, but maybe if you want to buy a new anything, whether it's you want to get your nails done, you want to get a new dress, you want to buy a gift for somebody, you have to check your bank account to see what you have in there. And you would like to just have something like that. You don't need to be a millionaire, right? So it's can feel like a lie to say, I am this, I am that. But you might want to use if that's the way it is for you, if you feel like you're lying to yourself or it's hard to even say that out loud, you can say, I am deserving of, I am deserving of financial stability, right? And that feels better. So a couple ways that we can use affirmations um, is by, looking in the mirror and saying these things to ourselves. So you can say, I deserve financial abundance. I accept financial abundance in my life now. I am ready to accept financial abundance in my life now, or love, or whatever it is. I am ready to accept whatever it is into my life right now. Or I am ready for a fulfilling life. I am now ready for a purposeful life. Um, so things like that. You can look in the mirror and just say those things. So you can either, every time you go to the bathroom, you wash your hands, you look in the mirror and you say these things. Or you can have the sticky note up on your mirror. And before you go to bed, say it to yourself as many times as you possibly can, just over and over and over and over. Or you can have a few affirmations and just say them over and over and over. When you first wake up or when you go to bed, look in the mirror and say them to yourself. Another way is through tapping, which is also EFT, emotional freedom technique, more, also known as tapping. And I have a whole nother video on that. And it's just a very basic introduction to tapping, but I will try to put that link, in the description of this video. But there are meridian points along your body, and they use those for acupressure points. And they are also good with tapping. And I believe that some of them that we use for manifesting, I believe that it's somewhere around your collarbone. It's not your temples, but the end of your brow bone. I believe the top of your head is also down here, here. I think under your eyes. It's right here. So there's a few places, and you just want to do it evenly on both sides of your body. But like I said, I'll link that below. And there's a million probably other videos you can find on YouTube that explain tapping. And, there can be the really long ones or really basic ones, but I'll put my link below. It's just a pretty short, basic introduction. So you can use tapping, looking in the mirror, saying these affirmations while you're doing your tapping sequence. And that helps to sort of solidify them and anchor them into your body a little quicker than just saying them. Of course, you can write them down, right? So, when we get in trouble, right? I will not blah, blah, blah. I will not blah, blah, blah. I will not talk in class, right? Some of us remember those days when we would have to do that. Of course, I never had to do that. But but anyway, so you can write them down over and over and over and over, or you can use it as like a journaling prompt. So I deserve financial abundance in my life. I deserve financial security in my life. With financial security, I could give to the charities that are important to me. I can give gifts to my friends and family. I can help out my friends and family that might be struggling. I can have enough to take a day off. I can have enough to put my bills on auto pay. With financial security, I can blah, blah, blah. With financial security, I can blah, blah, blah. Just use it as a journaling prompt to keep that focus on the positive of what your life would look like with financial security, with love in your life. What would a fulfilling life mean to you? Just all those things down as a journaling prompt if you're somebody that likes to journal or that is good with writing. That's another way to use affirmations. Or in meditation, so you just have the intention of the affirmation in your mind before you go into meditation. And if you're not somebody that usually meditates, your mind's going to wander. Just expect that that's going to happen and don't beat yourself up about it. So when you can have it written down on a piece of paper, your affirmation that you want to use before you go into your meditation. And then if your mind wanders, you have it in front of you or on your lap or in your hand, whatever. Your mind wanders, just notice that your mind is wandering and go back to your paper. Just read it again, and then go back inward and focus on that affirmation. So that's another way to use it and to use affirmations. And then, of course, there's guided meditations, which if you're not new to this channel, I have a lot of guided meditations. That's mostly what this channel is. And some of them do use affirmations in some of those guided meditations. And then hypnotherapy, of course, I'm a hypnotherapist. So we use affirmations a lot in hypnotherapy. And again, that just helps to sort of anchor it into your mind. So I have a couple notes here of different things that you can say. You can say, I am, rather than, just I am a millionaire or, I am in a loving relationship or whatever it is. You can say, I am allowed to. I am excited to live a life of whatever. I give myself permission. That's a good one. I give myself permission to heal. I give myself permission to be in a loving relationship. I give myself permission to live a life of purpose. I give myself permission to be happy. I give myself permission to live a life of financial abundance, to live a life of financial stability, and anything really. You have to give yourself that permission. Sometimes we have blocks within us, a lot of times, and that's what hypnotherapy is all about. We've got these blocks deep within us that we don't even really know half the time are there or how they got started, but they're there for some reason throughout our life. Something, some experience we had the way our parents talked, the way, we were programmed through TV sometimes or something. It doesn't have to be a trauma response, although oftentimes times it is. But it's just sort of rewiring, reprogramming your brain to not have the self-sabotaging thoughts. So that's really what it comes down to. That's what it's all about, is reprogramming the negative thoughts into something positive so that you can live the life that you deserve, to live the life that you want to live. So you can also, before you wake up or before you go to sleep. I mean, yeah. So before you go to sleep, you're laying in bed. You can just repeat it as often as you can, until you fall asleep, maybe. Write it down a couple times and then go to bed, have it at your bedside, read it before you turn off the light and just keep repeating it to yourself or out loud, whichever feels better for you. Just keep repeating it until you fall asleep. And then when you wake up, you can even say, I am so grateful to live a life of abundance. I am so grateful to live a life of financial abundance. I am so grateful to live a fulfilling life. So, one thing, excuse me, one thing we hear about is to get the feeling of it. And that's really true if you can. Imagine yourself being able to help out friends and family that are in need. Imagine the way it would feel to give to your charity that's important to you. Imagine how it would feel to say, "Oh, I love that. I love that dress. Let me get it." Um, or just being able to go to the grocery store and not having to look at what can I afford, what do I absolutely need, and not have to keep track in your mind of how much money you're spending when you go grocery shopping, right? So, just imagine how that would feel. Picture yourself doing that, or even buying that car that you want, buying that house, whatever it is, buying something for your children that they need or that they've really wanted and you just can't afford it. Get that feeling, visualize that, let yourself feel how that feels. So, one thing I already told you about when I would go to work, my last nursing job before I went to school for hypnotherapy, I would just yell it out in my car driving to work. I am a successful hypnotherapist. I am so grateful for hypnotherapy in my life. Just all these things with the same focus, just different words. And just said it really not only out loud, like pretty much yelling it, but also when I was in nursing school, so long before hypnotherapy, when I was in nursing school, I would picture every test and quiz. I would visualize in my mind getting the answers correct. Like every quiz, every test, every exam, I would visualize knowing the answer. So I would just see myself reading questions in the quiz, in the exam, and being like, "Oh, I know that one." Just like like you know the back of your hand, right? "Oh, I know that one. I know this one. Oh, this is easy. I know that one. I know that one. I got this answer." Just it, and you know how that feels. So I would visualize that. And I would also visualize, so it wasn't, you didn't get it in college, you don't get a paper back with a big A on it or anything, but I would visualize that, like getting a paper handed to me with a big A on it, and 100%, be like, yes, yes, I did it. Yeah, I passed. I got an A, and just let yourself feel how that feels, and I think it really helped. I did well in nursing school. I had to, anything that it was very competitive. If you didn't do well, if you didn't get an A, you had to go back and take that class over. That's how competitive it was. So, but I would visualize that. It doesn't mean it's magic. It doesn't mean it's always going to work. And it definitely doesn't mean you don't have to put the work in. I studied like crazy. I studied like, oh man, I studied I studied a lot. I did a lot to make sure that I knew the answers. But just to help, help from having negative thoughts, to help from being worried about it, to help keep that stuff down, I would visualize knowing the answers. I would visualize getting that A and that 100%, big across the paper, which, you didn't get that, but you could understand how that felt. You could visualize that and just feel it. So yeah, that's a great way to do that. Let's see. So you can also, if you have a family member or a friend or even your partner or significant other that you're having issues in your relationship, you're kind of butting heads or things are not going so well, you can visualize, you two smiling together and hugging. You can visualize that and just say, um, something like, I give myself permission for a loving relationship. I give myself permission to heal from, whatever, just whatever, whatever affirmation that, feels right for you. It's better for you to come up with your affirmations that feel right for you and are specific to you than just something real generic that you read in a book. Although those can be very helpful. But if it's something to do with something personal in your life, like your relationship, then that's good to do it that way. You know, we deserve to, I give myself permission to, or I am allowed to. A lot of times, people start to feel like all men or all men are this or all women are this, and they don't believe in love anymore. They get themselves stuck in these relationships over and over. Same type of relationship, same type of abuse, but different person. So to get yourself out of that mindset, you can say, I am so excited to know that love exists. I am so excited to know that I don't know, or, I give myself permission to heal from the past and be in a loving relationship. I deserve a loving relationship, things like that. So I'm kind of rambling here. So let's wrap it up. um, So I'd like to hear different ways that you have used affirmations. If there's anything um, that I said in this video that you've learned from or that has helped you, I'd love to hear about that, or other ways that you know to use affirmations. So kind of summing up a little bit here, EFT tapping, mirror work, journaling, um, writing things down, saying it out loud before bed, and when you first wake up, you know, those are some great ways to use affirmations. And the only rules are stay positive. And if it doesn't feel right for you, try another way, you know. Also, I suggest looking up Louise Hay. She's a big one for affirmations. She will even say things like, I love life and life loves me. And that's one that I've used a lot. You know, if life loves me, then it means my life is going well, right? Life loves me back. I love life and life loves me, it's a really nice kind of a feeling and an overall joy and you know, overall goodness and wonderment, right? All those great words. So okay, so thank you for listening. Thank you for clicking on this video, and I hope that you got something of value from it. And I hope that if you haven't yet listened to any of the guided meditations, that you will. So thanks again. Bye.